Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of My Fiber Fun. Yes, I look flushed and blushed and everything else. We started a heat wave on today, and it's supposed to go throughout the weekend and into next week, and then it's supposed to cool down again. But boy, tomorrow we're supposed to hit like the mid-90s, which is rare for Michigan. Those of you from here know. And that's going to be horrible. And today, I think the high was like 88, but right now it's feeling like 100. And so I just came out the greenhouse because I knew that the plants were going to be stressed, which they were, because it was like 150 in there. And so I got some water on those plants, but the shady part of the afternoon has come in, so they'll bounce back real quick. I did that real quick, left the door open, put it on jet, and stood outside and watered, okay? Then I got my plants outside. I gave them just a wee bit of water, and I'll go out later this evening. The nice thing about Michigan is when we get hot during the day, normally at night it'll cool down. It won't be as cool as it's been because we've been getting down in the 50s at night, and that's the perfect sleeping weather. I have been calling the hogs, okay? But I think tonight's low is going to be like 70, so I'll definitely have the air on tonight so that I can sleep well. Well, you guys, looks like I'm about to be at a standstill. I'm down to my last 5, and I had 7 of these left. So here's 4, and then I just started on, I've done 2 of these. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've done 2. And so I'm on the 3rd ball of this, and I have 4 more left. It's not going to be enough, not quite enough. I measured it on last night, looked at it. It doesn't seem to be growing anymore. And I know it is, but it's just growing slow. I think I said I like this so much in the half double crochet because although it is a little heavy, it's not nearly as heavy as that one I just frogged. It's the perfect heaviness, the perfect texture. It's nice and warm. I can't work on it without going to sleep and all that. So I want it to remain the way that it is, size and all, because actually I could actually make it work out. I chained 135 for this, and I mentioned that I was going to use it horizontally. I was wrong. I had my directions wrong. This is horizontal. I meant to say I'm going to use it vertically because you use less yarn and, but you have to get it to the width of your body. It's there, but I wanted to really wrap around. So I think 5 more balls of this will work. We'll see what these last 4 do, because if I'm saying that 5 balls will work, well, I have 5 balls. So that might take it to the finish line. We have to see. And then plus I have this Noro, the black, to border it with, and I'm gonna do a wide border. As many rows of border I can get out of this ball of Noro scratchy wool. I don't know why I'm adding scratchy wool to this, but I should be okay. We'll see. If not, I can always frog this and put another border around it, which I will happily do. Even if it means buying another ball of the chunky remix to border it with, I will. Plus, I'll be buying some anyway, but right now it's not on sale. So if I don't have to get the 5 balls, because if I do, that's over $60 because of the shipping, plus each ball is $9.90. So with tax, it's going to be 10 something, probably like $10.32. So that's a lot for 5 balls. I got this on sale, remember? So anyway, we'll see what happens with this, but I love it. And the length is just perfect. It goes from foot to all the way back. So I just needed to get wide enough. Now width-wise, it's perfect. This is what I would like, but it doesn't even reach the knee, okay? As you can see, it's big, but it's not as big as I would like it. I want this to be a decent sized blanket, just to look like a nice throw, but I'm just loving it. And even in the summertime, it's perfect because it's hot right now, and it's like, it makes you cool, and that's because of the cotton in it. It makes you cool in the summer and then warm in the winter. That's what I like. That's why cotton is my favorite fiber of all. Good cotton, that is. I've learned. But let me tell you what's in this. I've read it before, but I've kind of forgotten. It's 30% nylon, so that's what gives it its little drape and stretch. 30% nylon is 27% cotton, 24% acrylic. You can't even, it must be the good acrylic, because you cannot even decipher acrylic in this. You really can't. It's nothing like Red Heart and all that stuff. It is some good stuff, whatever it is. But it's really, really nice. I love the texture of this and the look of it. It's 10% silk. Oh yeah, my silk. And that's what gives it its softness. But my second favorite fiber is linen. And so it has 9% linen in it. And I love linen. I love it because that gives it strength. You know, polyamide, they say that gives it strength. To me, it doesn't. Linen does, though, because there's barely any stretch in linen. But I just like how this looks. Look at it. I mean, it just has that tweedy, you know, comfy, ugly snuggly look. I just love it. And so I'm going to make this right because I love it so much, because I won't have to make another one. This is going to really work for me. Okay, so in the meantime, while I'm on, well, I took a hiatus for a day with this, and this is what I made. I wanted to see if that frogged yarn, because of its thickness, I wanted to see how it would work with the market bag. I figured it would work because you're chaining and you're not just stitching. So it was lightweight until I got to the strap, but the strap isn't bad. And plus the strap is gonna be, you know, over your hand. This is perfect. So I made a set of these out of one ball. And then I used some of the variegated for the handle. So I'm going to the big farmer's market next week because I'm going to stock up on my honey. My bee man will be there next week, I learned. And I want to supplement on some peppers and a few other items there. Oh, and I want to get my Ginger scissors sharpened. They have a knife scissor sharpener there, and tool sharpener rather. And so when I go, I'll drop my scissors. The smaller pairs don't need it, but my big pair does. So I'm gonna take my big pair of Ginger scissors to the farmer's market and then get those sharpened next week, just to get them back into tip-top shape, and hopefully he can get some of that rust off. Okay, but I love these market bags. I had them made, it took less than an hour to make one, and that's including the strap. For the strap, I just did 8 across, and then I narrowed it down to 4. And then for the body, I just went around and around with the diamond mesh. I chained 5 in between, the single crochet, and I only did 18 rows. And then I did 1 row of single crochet and then the border. And so I think they came out nice. They're perfect. I got them stuffed right now because I wanted to see how they would stretch. This is going to be perfect for the farmer's market, because I don't have to worry about the bag stretching to the ground and all that because of the thickness of it. I should be able to get peppers in here, whatever veggie I buy, green beans, and I'll just put if it's something that will go through the holes like green beans, I'll just put the bag in. I'll take some plastic bags with me and just drop it into this. And if it's something like squash or peppers that won't go through the holes, just drop them in the bag. This is going to be perfect. Perfect. And then my honey, I have my other bags for that because I'm buying quite a bit of that. I want to stock up for my preps. Okay, so that's what I worked on yesterday. I will resume on the blanket tomorrow. I'm taking my time with that. Now, my cousin, one of my cousins, Marnie, her 50th birthday is tomorrow, and she at the last minute decided she wanted to do like a birthday dinner at a Mexican restaurant that I've never been to, and it looks like it's gonna be good. So, excuse me, y'all. And so I RSVP'd to go to this restaurant on tomorrow. So desserts and appetizers will be provided. I just need to pay for my dinner, which is fine. So I'll be going tomorrow. And she said, don't bring a gift because this is last minute. And an update. Remember the cousin I was telling you about? My first cousin's husband, the one I was telling you about to keep in your prayer. And they had my sister and them canceled because she and my sister were giving the party together, the painting party and that was going to be last Sunday. Actually, he had done a great improvement. He was in ICU. He actually had driven himself to the hospital, and it turned out he had suffered from a heart attack. And so he needed the surgery, but at the time he was too weak for the surgery, so they were kind of holding off and monitoring him. He was doing good, calling my cousin. You know, it was touch and go the first couple of days, and then he was calling my cousin and all that, and he was doing good, improved. And so they decided to take him to surgery on, it was Sunday. They decided to take him to surgery. Didn't survive it, you guys. So keep my cousins, especially, and their daughter, they have a young daughter. She's in her 20s. Keep them all in prayer, including, you know, my family, because it was a devastating, terrible loss. He and my cousin had been married for 28 years. It would have been 29 years in August. And so he's been a part of the family. All of my cousins who are through marriage, they're just a part of the family. You don't even distinguish. They're just cousins. And so Larry will be greatly missed. And that's a part of our family that's really going to suffer the brunt of that, because he lived in this area. He was supportive of everything at every event. We really had a great time with him. And so we'll be saying goodbye to him. I'll find out the funeral arrangements probably today. So I'll be going to that. But in the meantime, my cousin Marnie, who is the wife of my first cousin, and so her birthday, you know, is tomorrow. And so she decided she wanted to celebrate it because it's her 50th. And I don't blame her. And she's like, I know we're not in much of a celebrating mood, but at the last minute, I decided to have the party, and we're just going to meet at the restaurant. So she said, you know, no gifts or anything. She just wanted, you know, those who wanted to come to help her celebrate that they could. So, of course, you know, she always supports me. And even if she didn't, I would have still attended. So I decided to RSVP. I'll be attending. But I'm like, she said, don't bring a gift. I'll at least get her a card. And guess what, you guys? I said, this is what I can do today. I may not finish every color, but I'm going to do as many as I can. I'm going to try to finish all 5 of these. Scrubbies. This soap scrub, this is perfect. And I should have thought of this yesterday, because I would have forego the bags, because I won't be going to the farmer's market until next Saturday, not this Saturday. But I believe I can get all 5 of these done today. I'm going to start right now, because you only need 2 rolls for a scrubby. I don't make them too big, just big enough to hold in your hand and be able to scrub whatever you're scrubbing. And this stuff is some good stuff. So I picked one. I didn't pick every color, because there's a teal and there's a mint. This is the hunter green. There's a teal green. There's also a mint green. There's orange in there. I might do the orange if I can get these finished. I went with 5 to try to assure that I'll finish them. So if I can finish these before 6:30 tomorrow, then I'll throw the orange in. And what's the other color? There's another. I got pink. I've got yellow. Let's see. Wait a minute. I may as well. Okay. Oh, lime green. We have this lime green, the mint green, and we have the orange. Those are the. Oh, and black. I'm definitely not doing black, although I did bring out my small light, and it works really well with the darker colors, because I used it during the watermelon bag thing, and it worked really well, but I just don't feel like working with black, so that's out. Oh, and I have this lavender. You know what? We're going to put this lavender. That's my first choice, so we'll see if we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to have to try to make her 9 scrubbies, y'all. I'll get as many as I can. So this is my last choice, the orange. Well, orange would be my second choice. The greens, I think I'll eliminate those altogether. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It gives me 7. I might even eliminate this one, because I like that lavender so much. And then that gives her all bright colors. I don't know. Ooh, decisions. We'll see. I'm going to just start with those. If I can get enough made up, then I'll go on to the other colors. And then I'm going to get just a little teeny tiny gift bag, put those in along with the birthday card. And I think she'll really, truly appreciate that. I really do. You know, who doesn't, want a gift or whatever. So, Yep, I will do that. Alrighty. Okay, so that's all I wanted on today. That's all I was here to say. I'll resume, fingers crossed, no sickness hits, but I'll resume Mr. Andrews' story on Sunday of this week. And I found 3 treats from the Andrews archives that happened. I was looking for something else in my closet, and I pulled down this bag. What was I looking for? I can't remember exactly what I was looking for, but I said, let me look in this bag to see if it's in there. And I found 3 items. 2 are pictures, and then 1 is something else special. So I'll make sure you get to see those artifacts on Sunday. So I did not put those items in the shed for whatever reason. But anyway, they're there. So, and then hopefully once I get that, because since my groundhog he got hit by a car, I didn't tell y'all that a couple of weeks ago, and I wasn't sure if it was him or not. I figured it was because he was so big, Booger the groundhog. Well, it was him. He got hit by a car, and he hasn't returned. I covered the hole up with the bricks. If he was in there, he would have dug another hole by now, and it's been like 2 weeks since that occurred. So Booger is dead. So I'm getting ready to repair the hole altogether. A friend of mine, my bartering buddy, she's coming by to help me with that. I told her no rush, but we'll get it done once the weather cools down. Once that's done, then I'll be able to utilize my shed again. And the first thing on the agenda is to go in there and get those items out from Mr. Andrews. And then I have like 4 or 5 tubs in there that I had stored in there that I need to bring out. And there's one of my late mother's too. I just need to bring that out, get those cleaned and cleared, and now that my closets are clean with that Swedish death cleaning that I did a year ago now, and I've kept it up really well. So now that that's done, I have space in my closets to put the tubs of those important items that I have. You know, the photos and things like that. Nothing has gotten to them. I have them in Rubbermaid tubs. You know, last time I checked, which was earlier this spring before the hole got massive, the way that it is, everything was intact. Nothing had infiltrated. I peeked in, everything was fine. No smell, nothing. So they're really protected. But the point is, you still don't want them to stay in there forever. That's the thing. I need to bring those into the house and use that shed for what it's intended for, tools, okay? All right, so let me get off of here. So I'm gonna continue on with my projects, try to fight this heat, gonna get some lunch because it's still fairly early in the day, it's 2 o'clock. So just wanted to pop in and say hello, and I will talk to you guys later, and may God bless you. Oh, I forgot about a story. That's another thing. Ooh, let me tell y'all what happened. Okay, add another 10 minutes to this, okay? Okay, y'all know that I was supposed to get my, hold on just 1 second, okay? I put y'all on pause because I needed a gulp of that water. Not just a sip. The sip wasn't getting it. You got to stay hydrated. Hydrated. I have mint water here, mojito mint. And so I've been just harvesting from one of them every day because it's in my back room. And then the other one is back there. And I've been pruning that too. But anyway, okay, to the story. Okay, so the neurologist wrote me a prescription for the U-Step 2 walker, and I will add a link to that so you can see exactly what this Cadillac does, okay? And so he told me to call Benson's, which is our local DM durable medical equipment and, you know, just medical things. That's the name of it, Benson's. And they're also located in Florida. It's a Michigan, Florida-based company. Okay, so, and then we have a few others around here. So I called Benson's, and they're the ones who provided me with my first U-Step back in 2011. And so I thought, okay, I'll just go pick it up, you know, tell them, you know, and whatnot. They were like, we don't do U-Step, we just do the Drive, which is that one I got last week from the MSAA. And that one's in the car. I use that for my car. And so they were like, you're going to have to call the company, the U-Step company that makes it, and then they can, she said, they can guide you to the right distributor. So I was like, okay. So I called the U-Step company, and the lady, she said, well, I need a copy of the prescription, because she was like, we can actually do, excuse me, dang, what's wrong with me? Okay. She said, we can actually do the order and send it out to you and whatnot. She said, but we would need to see the prescription. So I faxed her the prescription, and she told me, I need to check with your insurance to make sure, that it's covered. She's like, because they only pay every 5 years for durable medical equipment. I said, yeah, I'm aware of that. I said, and I did get a scooter 2 years ago, which has barely been used because, right now I can't lift it. I used it last summer. So, and it's a lightweight. Y'all seen it. Anyway, I've had that only 2 years, so I was like, oops, that might mess up things. But I have forgotten. They will pay for before 5 years if it's a downgrade, something that's worth less. Now, if I wanted a bigger scooter or a wheelchair, and surprisingly enough, wheelchairs are worth more than scooters. But I have a wheelchair, and that's in the shed. I need to hurry up and bring that in here. It's brand new, never even been used. I got that just to have it, just in case I need it. And now it would come in handy, because if I wanted to, it's a lightweight wheelchair. If I wanted to put that in the car and use it, in place of the scooter, I could, but I'm not. But anyway, but I do need to bring it in. I have room to get that in my closet as well. I need to do that. But anyway, so once I realized, okay, I said, I know this walker will be covered. Sure enough, she called me back 10 minutes later and said, the walker is covered 100% because you've met your deductible for the year. Plus, I'm doubly insured. I have Medicare as my primary, and then Blue Cross as my secondary. So anyway, usually, as always, Medicare has always paid 80% of whatever I'm getting, and then Blue Cross has always picked up the other 20%. So that's how I end up being covered 100%, and that's why I've been blessed enough to get everything that I need mobility-wise, at least to stay in my home, in case, I get in a situation where I would have to go to a nursing home. I'm quite sure that I could probably avoid it unless I'm bedridden or something like that. So anyway, so she told me I was covered. So I was like, okay, let's get going. So she said, well, the only thing is, she was like, you're going to have to do it through a distributor, though. She was like, I thought that we could do it here. She said, but in Michigan, we have a distributor that's contracted out 2 hours away. I'm like, oh, Lord. So they were closed. So I called them this morning, but it was just a big drama, because I was like, well, let me just go on and pay for it. I said, because I have Care Credit. I said, and so I could just pay for it outright, and my insurance will reimburse me. We've done that stuff before, and they have always, my insurance, I can't complain. And we're not talking to Medicare. The Blue Cross, to me, I should have picked them as my primary, because I think I told y'all, they send care packages. They're always checking on me. Whenever I'm in the hospital, they call. In fact, they did it this past time. Then they've called since I've been home from the hospital to check on me. All this stuff. I mean, they have always. And then you have a advocate representative. In fact, my advocate called me 2 weeks ago. She wanted to make sure, and she would have come in handy for this. But I wasn't thinking about it at the time. When she called me, we were just talking about some paperwork that I'm going to get that needs to be filled out, and she said, instead of you filling out, I can do it. So she sent me a consent form to sign so that she could fill out the paperwork, and it's something I do every year. I have to fill out, it's called a redetermination letter, which determines it's for my retirement and for my insurance, actually, which comes through my retirement. And what they do is they want to make sure that your condition hasn't worsened or gotten better. They want to make, it's just the regular questionnaires. And it's questionnaire, and it's quite a few questions on there. So instead of me having to do it this year, she'll do it. Good. Yay. So I gave the consent, and then she sent it hasn't come yet, but she said she'll be sending a copy, and then I will get a copy of the redetermination letter too. And so I will know whether or not it's filled out, because if it's not filled out and turned in by the date that they request, they'll send you a second letter warning you that you need to have it turned in, and they give you a new date. So she got one chance. If it's not done by the date that's on there, if they don't send the confirmation that it's been turned in to let me, and they usually send the confirmation to let me know, that I'll continue on with benefits and not to even reply. So if I don't get that letter saying that it's been done by that date or a few days after, then guess what? I'll be doing the second one when they send the second notice. They'll send 3 notices in all, and then after that they cut you off. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, so anyway, and then I had to redo everything in order to get reinstated for my benefits and my retirement money. I was like, oh Lord, I messed up, but I got it that next month, and they back paid me and all, but I said never again. And that was back during my immature years, like 20 years ago, when I thought fat meat wasn't greasy. Okay, I'm veering off again. So anyway, this lady, she was like, I said, I can pay for it through Care Credit. I said, because, you know, she had quoted the price of it, how much it would cost if I had paid cash for the walker. And because if I were paying cash, I would get 20% off. So when she quoted the price of that, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just pay with Care Credit. She was like, what's that? And I told her what Care Credit is. Many of you may know I used it for my cataract surgery because I had this huge copay that I didn't have the cash for each eye. And so I took out the Care Credit to pay for that. And then I paid Care Credit off immediately. As soon as that bill came that next month, boom, I had it. And they got paid off. So I have a 0 balance. So the amount for the walker is, I had like thousands more on the Care Credit. So I was like, I'll just pay for it and let my insurance reimburse me. And so she was like, well, let me go ask my manager if we can do that. Here she comes back a few minutes later. I'm sorry, but he's never heard of Care Credit. And he said, unless it's Visa or MasterCard, we can't accept that. They would not let me buy. I was like, y'all getting the money. It's a credit card. I was like, you get paid right away, and it's up to me to pay Care Credit back, which I would do once I'm reimbursed. I was like, because I would like my walker ASAP. She would not budge. They would not budge on that. They just did not trust Care Credit. And all I had to do was give them the credit card number, just like with any other credit card. So that was the drama of the whole thing. I was so mad. But anyway, this morning, because the place was closed, called CareLink, they were closed. So I called this morning, and they were able to do everything. The only thing is my doctor didn't write the diagnostic code on the prescription. So now he has to fax them a whole new prescription because it has to include the diagnostic code. So anyway, I will add a link to the U-Step 2, and you will see why I'm fighting so hard for it. But anyway, once my doctor faxes that information, and he's very good at stuff like that, usually it's done just like that, they will contact me. The CareLink people will contact me. And then one of they're located in Grand Rapids, which is my hometown, two hours away that I was telling you about. Well, they have a local place here in Madison Heights, Michigan, as well as other locations throughout the state of Michigan, because they have the contract for this state as a distributor for the U-Step. And then other people have contracts for the other states, and there's some international distributors as well. So if you go to their website, you'll see all that. But anyway, well, not about the states, but you'll see the internationals on the website. But anyway, so the lady said once they receive the fax, they'll contact me. And so the Madison Heights people, they do deliver to my city of Pontiac. And then once they get ready to deliver, they'll contact me first, let me know they're coming out. We'll set the day and the time. They'll come, they'll be measuring me because they have to get my correct height and everything. So they'll bring, the U-Step is adjustable for all heights, you know, up to like 7 or 6.5 feet or something like that. And so I already know my height, but they'll measure me, and then also they'll need to measure my width and all that stuff. Like they did with this one, they did all that. And so they got the height adjusted on this one, and it always remained the same. So they'll be doing the same thing, and they'll be bringing the U-Step when they do it, and then they will assemble it, show me how to use it, and all that. And I will need to go through that training because the U-Step 2 is similar to the U-Step 1, which is what I have, but it's better and it's different. And so the catch bar for if you fall is down lower. So I'm very, very happy to be getting this before this big, beautiful bill takes effect, because I know there's going to be some cuts. I don't know exactly what, but I'm quite sure durable medical equipment will probably be one of them, because that's the most expensive things. But when it comes to the disabled and elderly, I think that the cuts aren't going to be as severe for whatever. But, you know, I've been hearing other things, so I need to look over the bill. My sister looked over it and everything, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. We'll see what it says. Okay, but anyway, but in the meantime, I'm just doing my part, and that's what I've done all the time. I don't complain. You know, I don't really get political. I do not complain about anything. It is what it is. As long as I do my part in doing what I'm supposed to do, I've never really suffered under any, you know, presidency or whatever. I mean, it could change or whatever. I mean, I've had issues and stuff, but usually I can advocate, and because of my health being as severe as it is, I've never really had problems like, you know, others and whatnot, housing, things like that. But then I do my part as well. First of all, you have to do the work. That's number one. You must do some work. If you don't do it, then the early bird catches the worm, as they say. You know, so I'm not lazy in that regard. I do the work, I advocate, I research. It's a lot of things. If you just research it and then you call and ask about it, and they know that you have researched, because when you're speaking with them, that's letting them know that, okay, she has read about this, and so she knows. They tend to be nicer and will tend to accommodate you more. It's certain things, you know, that you do. When when you're advocating and trying to fight for your own self, especially when you're sick or whatever, or if you're fighting for someone else. You know, I did it for my mother as well. So really, you know, I don't go off on people. I don't care how mad they make me. Like yesterday, that lady made me mad. I was like, I'm ready to punch her. But, you know, the thing is, I didn't talk mean or anything. I just let it go. And I figured, okay, let me do some more research and whatnot. And it turned out she was telling, you know, for the most part, telling the truth. But that care credit thing, that was just totally, I think it was a trust issue on that, you know. And if they've never heard of it, they just never heard of it. They should have heard of it, because Care Credit is a major credit card, very major, been around for years. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna get off of here now. I've added another 20 minutes to this, so let me get off, because I'm just a rambling. So I will talk to you guys later, and may God bless you all. Time to get this lunch. Talk to you Sunday. Bye-bye.